just a statement a little bit about Texas. I don't know Steve really well. I've got to know him a little bit through media days and different things like that. Really good guy. He's got a great reputation as a play caller. You can see it. I mean, he's definitely, their strength is what he can do with his skill players. And he has a lot of skill on that team. And so really excited to play against him. He really is one of the best player callers in the game. And so I know Coach DeRuiter has some history, just being on that side of the nation and in the Pac-12 at different times. I know they have some history together and knows him, and he has some great things to say about him. The two running backs are special. They're guys that really make that team go. They're physical. You could tell as the game goes on, they just get stronger with the carries that they get. So something that we really have to do a good job of is, tackling this week and try to minimize the extra yards. Two really good receivers, have a little bit of history with Whittington, just from the standpoint of I got a kid out of Cuero at the same time that he went to Texas, and so spent some time recruiting there and recruiting him. And then, their young receiver who's All-American last year. Those guys are the playmakers. So they have the skill definitely to make that offense go, and it's going to be a challenge for us. The one thing that they have improved on, definitely, Pete, it's his second year as a defense coordinator there. They're playing better defense. He's doing a really good job. They're sound. They're tackling better. And they added a piece, as an analyst with probably one of the best defensive minds in college football, and Gary Patterson, and you can definitely see, there's an influence there. I'm watching film, and you see him on the sideline taking notes, and so he's a good friend of mine. Coach Perry and Zarnell both worked for him, and and they say, that's one thing they say. You could see that he's definitely there to really consult, and they're playing better defense, and you see why I think they're a better football team than what they were last year, especially at this point. So it's going to be a great test. The best thing about all of this is we're starting Big 12 play, and we definitely have everything in front of us. Excited to play Texas, excited to be back at home, excited to see everybody in red. And it's I definitely think that there's an advantage. I mean, I'm sure y'all have seen social media, and so we've got a old friend that used to coach here that's giving Steve some advice. I know that there's probably a little bit more animosity to him for different reasons, but it's fun to watch. I don't know if y'all are all into that, but I am. I love the pageantry and the back and forth and the excitement. And, we get to play a conference opponent this week, and we're really excited to get ready for Texas. With that, any questions?
Yeah, Coach, does the game plan kind of change with some uncertainty at the quarterback position over there for you?
No, I mean, they're both, I don't know. I guess Quinn had more stars or a higher rating, but I think they're, you're talking about 4- and 5-star guys that came out of Lake Travis and south of Lake Carroll. They're groomed to be quarterbacks. Hudson Card was the starting quarterback last year. He did a great job against UTSA of converting on third downs whenever he needed to. I'm not for sure what it was, if it was an ankle or what, but, listening and reading everything, it was they all both practiced today. I guess they didn't last week, and so I'm not Quinn, but the other quarterback. And so Hudson's going to be ready to go. He's got a big arm. He's got good receivers, and so they're going to run the same offense. It's going to go through the running backs, and it's going to go through the two receivers. And so, they have more than that. The big tight end out of Denton Ryan is really good. He's playing really, really well for them. But it's going to be the same thing.
And what adjustments are kind of being made with a strong Texas defensive line to kind of get the run game more involved this week?
One's going to help getting a vet back in Weston Wright. That allows us to play Jacoby and Landon in that right guard position, so I think that's going to help. Some of it is dictated on what they're going to allow us to do. I mean, we're an offense that's going to try to take what you give us, and so if you're giving us the run game, then we're going to run the ball. And some of our run game is in the quick screens and everything like that. We do need to do that against them because they are big and physical, and so moving them sideline to sideline is only going to help us. But they do have good depth, but that will help whenever you're kind of counteracting some big defensive linemen.
Go with the Mason and Pete.
Coach, what's been your experience with the Texas Tech rivalry? Maybe prior to you coming to Texas Tech or ever since you've gotten here?
Well, of course, I watched Graham and Crabtree in that game. I watched that game, and I understand the importance of the rivalry. Of course, seeing the basketball, how incredible that was. I think that has a mixture of two things. I think it's University of Texas, and then exactly who we're playing and the coach that they have. There and here. I didn't get to go to the game there, but I was there the night before and talked to a lot of our fans and, saw how fired up they were. I mean, it's great. You're playing, a good football team. It's Big 12. I mean, I'll tell you the first thing that we talk about is, yes, do we understand we're playing a logo, different logo? We're going to play a different logo next week. But at the end of the day, at 2:30, if we're not the best version of ourselves, we're not going to give ourselves a chance. And so we focus more on us than them, but it's exciting. I'm sure we're going to be playing in front of a sold-out crowd. I hope they drink their beer and not throw it. If they're throwing it, I hope they're throwing it up, just the liquid in celebration and not throwing it on the field. That came out of the student section, and it was Texas Tech fans. I know we want to deflect sometimes, but that was happening, and that's not what we're about. But we're going to give, we're definitely going to give them a reason to celebrate, and it's going to be a really good game.
You mentioned Quinn a little bit before, too. Obviously, he was considering Texas Tech before he made his decision to go to Texas. What was your experience like meeting with him?
Well, I kind of have a little bit of history because being in that Metroplex and knowing Coach Dodge so well, getting to watch them. I watched it actually at whatever that Texas Live is because I couldn't go to the game, and Cedar Hill actually played before South Lake in the state championship, and so Debbie and my son went and watched them play, and then we met over there and watched the game. He's a really, really good quarterback. He's a great kid, and he's got a lot of arm talent. I hate it, man. I sit there and watch Tyler, and he gets landed on his shoulder, and then Quinn gets landed on his shoulder, and it's just like Bryce, man. It's part of the game. I understand we play a really physical and violent game, but man, I hate whenever players get hurt. I want to face whoever the best is. Like whoever is their best and whoever our best is, I want to go out there and play with those guys and let them, so I wished him a speedy recovery, and if he suits out this week and gets to play, that's going to be good. I'm excited.
And then Bijan Robinson, all said and done, could be in the mix for the Heisman. A lot of things makes him dangerous. What makes him the most dangerous to you?
He and Roshan, they do a good job with their stiff arm. They're very physical with their hands. The opposite of what they're carrying the ball. They're always moving. Got really good vision. He has great vision. I mean, he's an NFL back. They don't choose those guys in the first round as much anymore, but he's definitely a guy that could be, and he should be. I definitely think that when you watch him play last year and this year, he's put together a campaign just as good as anybody else in the country.
All right, we'll go Pete and Jared right next to him right after that.
Coach, you talked about keeping the fans' emotions in check. Will you talk to your team about keeping things in check too? I mean, obviously this could be the last time Texas comes to play in Lubbock, and the emotions of the Big 12. What's the special message to the team?
Well, we talk all the time. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I've played these guys 5 times, you know, and we really haven't been a part of a game that I felt was any more emotional than playing OU or OSU or K-State. So, I mean, I know our guys are excited, but we also talk all the time about don't beat yourself. And when you allow that to come in, then you're putting yourself in front of the family and the team. And so we'll talk about that. You know, I definitely think that there was some familiarity with Houston players that had been here in the past, and we didn't have any issues in that game. I mean, our guys have been I haven't seen in 3 games where our guys have let their emotions get out of hand. I don't expect for it to happen this week. I mean, we're going to, just like Texas, we're going to let us go out there and play as hard as we can and be the best version of ourselves. And, you know, at the end of the day, you always remember, you know, winning the game is what it's all about, you know, and can't put yourself in a bad situation. So we got to continue to focus on not beating ourselves.
And I know Nick Saban didn't know the rule, but will you make sure the guys don't do horns down?
I'm sure these guys know. It's crazy. Makes me laugh. I don't get it. I don't know who came up with it. I don't know who thought it was a smart idea. It really, truly makes me laugh that that's a rule, but it is a rule, and we're going to play by it. And so, yeah, I'll make sure I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.